Imagine sitting down to write code, just like you do every single morning.
Right.
You fire up your editor, call on your AI assistant to help you structure a new feature, and suddenly you realize you are paying by the second.
Yeah, the meter is running.
Exactly. The flat $10 subscription you've relied on for, well, a year now is just gone.
Completely gone.
Now, every time the AI thinks, it's charging you by the token. And a single complex debugging session could drain through $30 of your own money before lunch.
Which is just a massive shock to the system.
Honestly, it means the era of free, limitless artificial intelligence is officially dead.
Oh, absolutely.
So this is our deep dive into the week the AI promotional phase violently ended. We are pulling all of our insights today from an incredibly dense piece of source material, the Tech Reader AI Digest's weekly recap for June 1st through the 5th, 2026, compiled by Aaron Rose.
And, it is a critical week to unpack.
It really is.
If you look closely at the timelines in this digest, you see 4 massive, seemingly separate tectonic shifts colliding within just a 5-day window.
Right.
The true cost of compute hit the individual developer.
Right.
The tech monopolies began walling off their infrastructure. The public markets prepared for a historic stress test.
Well, and the models themselves, right.
Yeah, exactly. The models reached a tipping point of self-improvement that triggered immediate global panic.
Okay, let's unpack this from the ground up. Because to understand the boardroom drama and the government panics, we have to understand the fundamental cost of this technology.
We do.
And the digest paints a stark picture by starting at the absolute ground level, which is June 1st, GitHub Copilot.
Right, a tool millions of developers use every day.
Literally millions.
Yeah.
And they ended what the source calls their flat-rate subscription fiction.
I love that phrasing, fiction.
It really was. So Copilot Pro is still $10 a month, but that $10 now simply buys you $10 in AI credits. Why the sudden shift?
Because the nature of what we are asking the AI to do has fundamentally changed. The digest points to the transition from tab completion to agentic coding sessions.
Right.
A year ago, you would type a variable, and the AI would guess the next 10 words. It was highly efficient, lightweight pattern matching.
Super cheap to run.
Exactly. But an agentic session is entirely different. You aren't asking for the next word. You are pointing an AI agent at a massive million-line code base and saying, find the memory leak in the authentication module, rewrite the logic, and test it.
So it's actively exploring the repository. It's reading files, trying solutions, failing, trying again, all on its own.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the raw compute required to do that is astronomical. The AI has to hold massive amounts of context in its memory and run continuous inference loops.
Which eats up processing power.
Unbelievable amounts. The source notes that a single long agentic session running on a frontier model can now consume $30 to $40 of compute.
Wow, $30 to $40 for one session.
Yeah. And for the last year, a flat-rate subscription meant the provider was just eating that cost.
Subsidizing more.
Right, to build market share. Now, the sheer volume of processing required has broken that economic model. The cost is being passed directly to the user.
And developers absolutely lost their minds.
Well, they rebelled.
The digest highlights the immediate blowback on the GitHub community forums. I mean, within hours, there were 400 comments and nearly 900 downvotes.
A total uproar.
GitHub had to rush out a statement confirming a hard cap option, basically letting developers set their additional spend to 0, so the AI just forcefully shuts down when the credits run out.
Rather than quietly draining their bank accounts in the background.
Exactly. But here is what I find so jarring. On that exact same day, at the complete opposite end of the economic spectrum, Anthropic filed a confidential S1 with the SEC to go public.
Yes, the timing is incredible.
What kind of numbers are we looking at there?
Well, the financials are staggering. The digest reports Anthropic's annualized revenue run rate hit $47 billion in May 2026.
Wait, $37 billion?
Yes, and to put that in perspective, they were at $10 billion the prior year. That is almost a 5x jump in 12 months.
That's insane.
And analysts are now plotting an October IPO with a $1 trillion base case.
Okay, I need a functional analogy here.
Go for it.
It is like operating a massive municipal water system. For years, the utility charged a flat $20 monthly fee because everyone in town was just taking quick 5-minute showers. The infrastructure handled it fine.
Right.
But suddenly, every user starts filling up Olympic-sized swimming pools in their backyard every single afternoon.
Great analogy.
So the utility is forced to install aggressive water meters on every house overnight just to stop the bleeding, while the utility's investors are pointing to the massive volume of water rushing through the pipes as proof the company is worth $1 trillion. But are these really the same story? Are we looking at a system that is scaling brilliantly, or one that is fundamentally buckling under its own weight?
Well, what's fascinating here is that tension is exactly what is driving the entire industry right now.
Okay.
The cost reckoning for those developers on GitHub and the massive capital story for venture capitalists at Anthropic are genuinely the same mechanism at work.
Two sides of the same coin.
Precisely. The compute required for agentic AI is so resource-intensive that it breaks consumer pricing models. But simultaneously, because this AI is now so deeply integrated into enterprise workflows, the revenues for the frontier models are skyrocketing.
Because businesses have to use it.
Exactly. The sheer cost to run this system is the very thing driving those trillion-dollar valuations.
Which brings us to the next massive storyline of the week, the infrastructure arms race.
Yes.
Because moving all that water is unimaginably expensive. The tech giants aren't just sitting around paying each other for cloud compute anymore.
No, they're building their own.
Right. They are raising historic amounts of cash to build their own hardware fortresses, and they are quietly cutting ties with their dependencies. Let's look at Alphabet.
Okay.
On Wednesday, they priced an $84.75 billion equity offering.
Which is it's the largest single equity raise in corporate history.
Unprecedented.
And a detail in the digest that cannot be overlooked is the participation of Berkshire Hathaway.
Oh, yeah, Greg Abel.
Right. Greg Abel directed a $10 billion private placement into that offering.
That is massive. I mean, Berkshire is famously conservative. They don't chase tech hype.
Precisely. The digest notes Alphabet's full-year 2026 capital expenditure guidance is up to $190 billion.
Wow, $190 billion.
But that is an unprecedented deployment of capital into physical infrastructure. We're talking data centers, power grids, cooling systems, custom silicon.
The real physical stuff.
Exactly. When a capital allocator like Berkshire Hathaway commits $10 billion to that, it is not a momentum trade. It is a long-duration conviction bet.
Meaning they see the underlying value.
Right. They are looking at the same compute costs, hitting those developers, and realizing that owning the physical underlying infrastructure of AI is going to be the most reliable, utility-like asset class on Earth.
So Alphabet is building a physical fortress, but Microsoft used their Build 2026 conference this week to prove they're building an entirely different kind of moat.
They certainly did.
Satya Nadella and NVIDIA's Jensen Huang were on stage along with the Chainsmokers, randomly enough.
Yeah, that was quite the visual.
Right. But they announced something called Microsoft Execution Containers, or MXC, and this seems to solve a massive bottleneck for corporate adoption. How does this sandbox actually work?
Well, think about the fear an enterprise IT department has right now. You have an autonomous AI agent that can write code, read files, and execute commands.
Okay.
If you let that loose on a corporate network, what stops it from hallucinating and deleting a critical database or accessing sensitive HR files?
Honestly, up until now, nothing.
Exactly. Nothing. That fear has stalled enterprise deployments.
Yeah.
MXC changes that by virtualizing the operating system layer for the AI.
So it tricks it.
Right. It creates a hermetically sealed environment, a sandbox directly on Windows. The AI agent operates inside this container. It believes it has full access to a system, but MXC intercepts and audits every single file system call or API request.
Oh, wow.
It allows enterprises to finally deploy autonomous agents with mathematically proven containment.
So the message to the Fortune 500 is, the autonomous agents are contained, they are audited, you can finally buy them without risking your entire company.
That's the pitch.
They also went hard on local hardware. They previewed the Copilot desktop app, confirmed the Super app for summer 2026, and announced the Surface RTX Spark DevBox.
That DevBox is a beast.
Yeah, this thing gives developers 1 petaflop of local compute capable of running 120 billion parameter models right on their desk, not in the cloud, locally.
Which is a huge shift back to local processing.
Absolutely. Plus, they committed to scalable quantum computing by 2029 via the Majorana 2 chip.
Which is a whole other conversation.
For sure. But I want to talk about the absolute bombshell of the keynote. Nadella casually disclosed the MAI family of models.
Yes. MAI Code 1 Flash MAI transcribe 1.5, and MAI image 2.5.
And the critical data point in the source is that these independent in-house Microsoft models are currently outperforming Google's Gemini and, crucially, OpenAI's latest models on the internal leaderboards.
That's the key takeaway.
Wait, I have to stop you there. Microsoft has spent billions backing OpenAI. Their entire initial AI push was built on OpenAI's models.
Yes, they were practically synonymous.
Are you telling me Microsoft just casually stood on stage and proved they don't actually need OpenAI anymore, right as OpenAI is supposedly weeks away from a massive IPO? Is this just a subtle flex or a massive strategic warning shot?
Oh, it is a profound strategic decoupling.
Really?
Yes. Microsoft is proving to the market and, honestly, to OpenAI's bankers that its future is completely insulated.
They don't need them.
Right. By showing they can train superior models internally, they cap the leverage OpenAI has over them. This entire infrastructure section of the Digest Alphabet's $190 billion capex, Microsoft's MXC security layer, the local petaflop hardware, and the independent MAI models, it shows a maturing industry realizing that dependencies are liabilities.
You have to own everything.
Exactly.
Yeah.
To survive the crushing costs of compute, these giants are realizing they must own every layer of the stack, from the silicon to the security sandbox to the model itself.
Which brings us to the most uncomfortable question for Wall Street right now. If Alphabet is spending $190 billion and Anthropic wants a $1 trillion base case, how do public markets actually digest those astronomical numbers?
This huge unknown.
Our source points out that the ultimate test for the market arrived this week, and it came from SpaceX.
Right.
Now, I'm looking at my notes, and right in the middle of a week dominated by Microsoft decoupling and massive AI compute costs, our source pivots to rockets.
It seems disconnected at first.
Right. So what does this all mean for you, the listener? If I'm trying to understand the future of software, why should we care about a space company's IPO in an AI deep dive?
Because it is a stress test for the market's suspension of disbelief.
How so?
Well, Thursday saw the launch of the SpaceX IPO roadshow under the codename Project Apex. They are seeking $75 billion at $135 a share, targeting a $1.75 trillion valuation.
Which would be the largest IPO in history.
Exactly. And interestingly, 30% is reserved for retail investors. But here is why the AI industry is watching this obsessively. SpaceX has a massive AI division.
Okay.
And the Digest notes that division posted a $6.35 billion operating loss in 2025 alone.
$6 billion up in smoke, just gone.
Just gone.
Even with their Starlink satellite internet hitting 10 million subscribers, that AI loss is a massive anchor.
Yeah.
And the market is pushing back.
Violently. Morningstar released a report valuing SpaceX at only $780 billion.
Wow.
That is 55% below what SpaceX is demanding.
So Morningstar is basically saying, we like the rockets, we like the satellites, but we are not paying a $1 trillion premium for your cash-burning AI division.
Exactly. And that is why this is the central financial story for AI right now.
Oh, I see.
Pricing for the SpaceX IPO happens on June 11th, with trading on the 12th. The institutional bankers structuring the upcoming IPOs for Anthropic and OpenAI are watching how this order book fills.
Because it sets the tone.
Yes. If institutional investors reject SpaceX's $1.75 trillion valuation simply because they refuse to stomach a $6 billion AI operating loss, it sets a hard ceiling for the entire AI sector.
It tells Anthropic exactly what the limits of the public market's imagination really are.
Precisely. It sets the ceiling for AI's public market multiples.
It's a reality check on the actual cost of innovation.
It really is.
But here's the paradox. While Wall Street is trying to figure out how to price the AI industry, the technology itself is accelerating at a speed that is, frankly, literally defying human comprehension.
It's going exponential.
And this triggered a sudden, massive regulatory snapback across North America. Let's look at Friday. Anthropic publishes a paper titled When AI Builds Itself, authored by Jack Clark and Marina Favaro.
Yes.
And the statistics in this paper are deeply unsettling.
Unsettling is definitely the right word. The paper reveals that over 80% of the code merged into Anthropic's entire codebase is now authored by Claude, their own AI.
80%!
Yeah. Their human engineers are shipping 8 times more code than they were previously.
But the specific benchmark they released is what really stops you in your tracks. When you ask a human engineer to optimize a piece of code, to make it run faster or use less memory, a highly skilled human usually achieves a 4x improvement, and it takes them about 4 to 5 hours.
That's the baseline.
Right. Back in May 2025, Anthropic's Opus 4 model hit a 3x improvement. But their new model, the Mythos Preview from April 2026,
Yeah.
it hit a staggering 52x improvement.
In the same time frame.
How does an AI even do that? What is it actually doing under the hood to get 52 times faster?
It requires a completely different approach to problem solving. When a human optimizes code, they look at linear execution. They clean up a loop here, they manage a memory leak there, they are making surface-level tweaks.
Right, because that's how we read it.
Exactly. But an advanced model like Mythos sees the entire code base as a multidimensional graph.
Okay.
It doesn't just tweak a loop. It instantly understands the underlying mathematical intent of the software and rewrites the entire foundational architecture from scratch in seconds, bypassing human structural bottlenecks entirely.
Wow.
It is refactoring logic in ways a human brain simply isn't wired to visualize.
So we are no longer talking about a tool that assists humans. We are talking about an alien architecture iterating upon itself at a velocity 13 times faster than our best engineers.
Yes.
And it's not just the frontier models at the big labs. The source points out that the open source community is accelerating simultaneously. Ollama 0.30 and LM Studio's MLX engine both shipped massive speed and efficiency upgrades this week.
For local, on-device AI.
Right. They are drastically lowering RAM usage, which means you can run these highly capable agentic workflows locally, right on everyday hardware.
The local stack is getting faster, just as the frontier stack is going exponential.
And here's where it gets really interesting. Anthropic publishes this paper bragging about a 52x algorithmic optimization rate, while simultaneously calling for a globally coordinated pause on development.
The irony is rich.
They are effectively begging the world for a coordinated speed limit while simultaneously stepping on the gas. How do we reconcile an industry building a self-improving machine while simultaneously asking Washington to hit the brakes?
Well, you have to look at the incredible tension between the local inference stack, which just keeps shipping faster tools to users, and the frontier labs experiencing runaway optimization.
Right.
And governments panicked. The regulatory machine, which the tech industry thought it had neutralized, reconstituted itself instantly. The source notes the regulatory floor was rebuilt in just 14 days.
Let's look at the White House first.
Okay, so former President Trump signed an executive order establishing a 30-day voluntary frontier model review alongside new cybersecurity clearinghouses and criminal enforcement authority.
But the digest provides fascinating context on how that specific 30-day window came to be. The source notes this was signed quietly after a lot of behind-the-scenes drama.
Yes.
Trump had apparently canceled a much stricter 90-day draft just days prior.
Right. The source notes the cancellation followed intense pressure and calls from tech leaders, specifically naming Elon Musk, Mark Zuckerberg, and David Sachs.
The industry pushed incredibly hard.
They wanted a short 14-day window. They argued anything longer would cripple American competitiveness. The original government draft demanded 90 days. The 30-day review was the ultimate compromise.
It perfectly captures the tension. The tech leaders are terrified of losing momentum, and the government is terrified of an intelligence that improves itself. But it wasn't just the executive branch.
No, Congress moved too.
Congress suddenly dropped the bipartisan Great American Artificial Intelligence Act. This freezes state-level AI laws for 3 years and funds a federal AI safety institute.
And it was international as well.
Exactly. In Canada, Prime Minister Mark Carney announced an AI for all sovereign strategy. And at the state level, it is pure fragmentation. Vermont flat out banned AI therapy chatbots, while dozens of bills advanced in Illinois and California. How do we make sense of all this sudden action?
We reconcile it by recognizing the fundamental incompatibility between exponential technological growth and traditional legislative frameworks.
They just don't mix.
No. A month ago, the tech industry believed they had successfully navigated strict regulation. But the machine reconstituted itself instantly across multiple countries and 30 state legislatures simultaneously.
Why so fast, though?
Because the numbers, an AI writing 80% of $1 trillion labs code and optimizing logic 52 times better than a human, are simply too massive for any sovereign government to ignore.
That makes sense.
The regulatory snapback is a direct, visceral reaction to the loss of human comprehension of the very tools we are building.
It is the moment the abstract numbers became undeniable reality.
Absolutely.
This deep dive shows us that the promotional era is definitively over. This was the week AI became a structural, governed, and deeply expensive reality.
The free ride is over.
It's the week where token billing hit the developer's wallet, turning limitless exploration into a calculated expense. It's the week trillion-dollar IPOs lined up to test the market's faith. It's the week corporate giants build unassailable hardware fortresses to protect their margins.
And most importantly, it's the week the models officially began improving themselves at a velocity that triggered worldwide regulatory panic.
So whether you are managing a corporate IT team, writing code, or just trying to navigate your daily digital life, the shift affects you.
It affects everyone.
The era of contained, highly capitalized, and rigorously audited artificial intelligence is here, which leaves us with a final, somewhat provocative thought to mull over based on everything we've explored today.
I'm ready.
If a frontier AI model is already writing 80% of its own code today, and open source models are getting dramatically faster and more efficient on your everyday local hardware, ask yourself, a year from now, who will actually be the developer?
Right. That's the real question.
Will it be you, typing at the keyboard? Or will it be the local agent running quietly on your laptop, managing your outputs? Keep questioning what you read, keep looking beneath the surface, and we will catch you next time.